How long did it take you to choose yourself over your king?
Your Grace.
I will never recover from Emma's death. But Alicent, she took me through the worst of my grief. She was a calculated distraction. I only now realize how well calculated it was.
That is an absurdity. The Queen loves you.
Your interests no longer align with those of the realm. Your judgment has been compromised.
You were a faithful servant, Otto. The crown and the realm both owe you a debt that can never be repaid. But I can no longer trust your judgment.
Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to the channel, I do reviews of upcoming episodes of series. I review trailers and movies. Today I will be reviewing episode 4 of House of the Dragon. This episode takes place about a year or so after episode 3, after Daemon's battle with the crab feeder, and we saw that Rhaenyra has been on a tour around Westeros to find a husband, and they've all been not so good. She hasn't found someone. This is my best episode. I loved this episode so much. This episode was lacking in action. There was basically no action. The only dragon action we saw was when Daemon flew to King's Landing with his dragon. That was the only dragon action we saw. This episode was, and it wasn't really political per se. It's more or less, I don't know the genre to lay this episode in. This episode was very action lacking, and even though this episode was very action lacking, it was still a very enjoyable episode. There was something my brother noticed when we were watching this episode, was when Rhaenyra was dressed as a guy, when she was disguising herself as a lad. She looked like the Sprouse brothers. I realized when he pointed it out to me, I was like, wow, that's actually true. She does look like the Sprouse brothers, and I never saw that again. Also, we could also see that Viserys was getting sicker. You could see it from his back, but he has lost 2 of his fingers. This episode was very funny. At the very beginning, when people were presenting themselves, and this very old man presented himself as an option for Rhaenyra. Before she even said anything, in my mind I was like, what? She is the princess, and as of now the heir to the Iron Throne, and you think she's going to marry an old man like you and make you king consort or whatever? Like, dude, can't sit down. And when she dismissed him, the next person that came was a child. A child was next in line. She just echoed my thoughts. So we dismissed an old man. You guys are bringing a young child for us. But at the ending of the scene, something very funny and interesting happened. The young child, there was a little bit of battle, kind of, and the young child killed one of the men that insulted him. I found that very funny. We could also see that Rhaenyra went back to wearing the necklace Daemon gave her. If you remember, she wore it from episode 1 and 2, and she stopped wearing it when she found out that Daemon stole her brother's dragon egg. I think she was angry at him. She stopped wearing it, but then when she heard he was coming back, she started wearing it again. And when he saw the necklace and touched it, it was more or less like there's this chemistry between the both of them. And let it be known, we know it's incest and we know it's wrong, but 1, we're in Game of Thrones. 2, unlike between Cersei and Jaime, that it doesn't make sense because they're Lannisters. It makes sense to the Targaryens. I mean, Aegon the Conqueror married his sisters, both of them. Both of his wives were his sisters. So it's like an honored tradition for them. And even Daemon pointed it out in this episode that is a Targaryen tradition. So forgive us for finding it, should I say, adorable? Kind of, just saying. There was also this juxtaposition between Daemon and Rhaenyra kissing to Alicent and Viserys. That part showed how willing, or more or less like enjoyable, Rhaenyra and Daemon found each other, how they have feelings for each other. While Alicent saw it more or less like her duty to just be pumping out airs and to be at the beck and call of the king. And the morning after pill that he gave to Rhaenyra, ancient medieval morning after pill, which more or less shows that Viserys did not believe her. The thing I loved the most in this episode was Otto's firing. I wish Otto was killed. I would have loved it more if Otto was killed. But I would have to do with the firing. And I was so happy. This episode actually made me like Viserys just a little bit. He showed he was smart by not believing Rhaenyra technically, and by now finally seeing Otto's little puppety hands doing its puppety stuffs, seeing that the guy might have the realm's best interest at heart, but as of now and for a long time, he has always had his own interest at hand, making his wife the queen, trying to get his grandson to be the new king. I'm so happy that Viserys actually finally sees Otto for who he is, which is a snake. And I'll be happier if Viserys killed him, but I'll have to do with the firing. I love that part so much. For Alicent and Viserys' scene, I just found it was so disgusting. I just couldn't wait for that scene to end. Christian and Rhaenyra, I didn't like it too. So I know Alicent was trying to help in this episode by trying to find out what happened, but what is her business with Rhaenyra's personal life, more or less? She helped in this episode, but still, I don't think it's any of her business. Rhaenyra is the character of this episode. She was not very good in this episode, but she's the character of this episode. I think someone made the list of all the bad things she did in this episode, and she still got away with them. And some of them, she lied to everybody, lied to literally everybody. And then she escaped to a brothel with her uncle. They almost got things going, but they did not. And when she saw that he left her, she ran to Kristen. And she got Otto fired. That's the best. I think her getting Otto fired was, I loved it. I loved it to bits. So she's the character of this episode. This episode was very good as well. As usual, everything was perfect. The writing, direction, acting, VFX, CGI, production, costume, everything. The cast, the crew, they did a good and an amazing job. This episode was so good. So it warrants its rating at 8.5. You guys can check out my review of episode 3 if you want, and the playlist containing all my reviews of House of the Dragon episodes so far. Please subscribe, turn on the notification bell, like, comment, let me know what your thoughts on the episode was and on the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.